Hello and welcome to the Nerd Age Podcast. This is a show where we talk about things that are nerdy. My name is Jonah. I'm here with Mick.
Hello.
Josh.
What's up?
And we've got special guest, Josh.
Hello.
Should we call you Doctor? Dr. Josh?
No.
No?
Doctor.
We should call him
In
Dr.
your professional opinion, Doctor.
Yes, my professional opinion, this movie.
Well, this show is just all about the new Superman movie. All four of us watched it this weekend, and we've got some thoughts. So there's going to be spoilers. We're not going to kind of ease into it. We're just going to go spoilers all the way. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want to get spoiled, come back after you've seen it and tell us if we're wrong or if you feel that we're right. But let's start with the positives. We're going to go just around. If you think there was a positive in the movie, share it, and then we can discuss it. And then after that, we can go into some negatives and then maybe nitpicks. But yeah, spoilers ahead. We're starting now. Superman. Mick, give me your first positive of this movie.
I'll give you a positive.
He's out twice, too. So.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. First positive, David Corenswet as Superman. I think for the Superman that's in this movie, in this universe, I think he did a really good job. He played that kind of Boy Scout, big blue Superman really well. I thought he was likable as a character. He had, I think, good charisma. There was nothing about him that pushed me the wrong way. He had some comedic stuff that I don't think landed necessarily, but that also could be attributed to he's kind of a big nerd anyway. So, take it how you will. But, let's see. He had some good emotional stuff with his parents.
Yeah, it felt a little short. I wish they would have done a little more with that.
I agree. I do agree. And I thought his chemistry with Lois was pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
If I have very few complaints about Man of Steel, it's that I've always felt that Amy Adams was miscast. I'd never really bought her as Lois Lane with Henry Cavill's Superman. But I think in this movie they both have really good chemistry. There's an interview scene that I thought was really good with the two of them. You got to see their dynamic with each other, that Lois still wants to get the story. She's a journalist first and then trying this relationship with Clark. And I think that really came through with their dialogue and just their back and forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say the main thing about this movie that carries it for me, that I think I like it more than the rest of you guys, is I think David Corenswet is doing that a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously, I still like Henry Cavill better as Superman, and I like that type of Superman better. That's just more my thing. But in terms of the way he's playing it in this movie, is that kind of more corny, kind of, I think it's Golden Age Superman, just a little more aw shucksy doodle kind of thing.
Yeah. What the hey, dude?
What the hey, dude? And I think he plays it very well. So I would say that is probably the biggest positive. There's a couple more, but we can get to that.
Yeah, I think we all agree here that David Corenswet was pretty good Superman. I think the acting by everybody, there's not really a person in there that you're like, oh, they're bad actors. So I think that's probably a positive for all of us. It's like, the acting worked well. I think a positive for me is Mr. Terrific. I think he was the best character in the movie, which is kind of weird when you're like, the best character in a Superman movie is a different
Mr.
character.
Terrific.
So that might eventually be a negative. Stick around to find out if it is. But I think he was probably the best character for me.
Listen, this guy can't even give a positive without giving a negative. He's like, it's a positive, but it's also a negative. Hey, it's a positive section. It's a positive section.
That's how it works. But yeah, you guys all agree Mr. Terrific was...
Yeah.
He was terrific.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Yeah.
Josh, give us another positive. We've got two so far. Here we go.
I mean, I'll echo what Mick already said. That was the big thing about the movie that I enjoyed, was Superman and Lois. I thought were strong characters. I think they didn't have a lot to do
Yeah.
They did a good job with what they had to work with, if
Yep.
that makes sense. But yeah, the interview scene's good. Good back and forth between them, and then I think also their goodbye, I guess, reconciliation scene is good. Minus some things I'll bring up in the negative section.
Look at this guy, can't even sing.
You're talking the one in his apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's out there alone.
And
He's
then
a bad dog. But
I actually liked Guy Gardner, surprisingly. Like, for the character he was playing, it was like, okay, I'll buy into a typical James Gunn character, like an a-hole
Yeah.
Green Lantern. Like, it was like, okay, yeah.
I think there was so much fear going into the movie about him specifically that
Right.
Maybe my expectation of that was way too high. But yeah, he did not annoy me hardly at all, actually, throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
which was nice.
I think that was my biggest fear. And I think, he did pretty good for it. I do think there's some pretty cool shots in this movie. I actually liked all the stuff in the snow. Like, I thought it looked good.
I think a lot of that was shot practically in Broadway.
Oh, really?
The CGI, anyway. I think the shot where he saves the lady with when the building falls and
was the
he's
best shot
coming
of the
up.
movie.
I was like, that's a really cool.
That's definitely like a super. We need
That's a
this
Superman shot. Yeah. And I thought it fit well with what they were trying to.
But that
build
was
with the character.
Okay, when that's
Hold up.
Yeah. Okay.
all right.
Positive.
Josh, what? Give us another positive.
You guys are taking them all.
Yeah. Well, find one. Find one.
It was nice and colorful.
Okay. That's positive.
How
That's the
positive of
definition
you.
of positive. Colorful.
Hey, yeah.
I honestly, like you guys have said it, like David Cornsweet was great. Mr. Turford was great. Those really carried it for me.
Come on, you got to dig deep.
How'd you like the score? Was the score?
I mean, like minus the like actual punk rock.
Oh, the needle
music.
drops.
Right,
yeah.
I mean, nothing was really standing out to me, but I'd have to listen to it again, honestly.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Nice and colorful.
Nice and colorful.
I'm trying to think of more positives.
Do you want me to record you?
No, I'm good. I think there were some moments I thought that were good, that worked. The conversation he has with Pa Kent, even though it was very short,
Dude,
it worked well.
His eyes, though. His eyes were
didn't.
going
I
berserk,
didn't.
left and
I think that's what I think the actor has an eye thing, doesn't he?
I don't know.
I'm pretty
but just
sure.
make him not do that. Like, be like, turn, look at me, son.
Hey,
look
no.
at me, Clark.
He's like, Dad, what are you doing? I'm over here.
No, he's saying Superman was his eyes were going crazy.
His
No, the dad,
his
yeah.
dad's eyes were just spazzing him out.
I mean, he was remembering those burritos. I thought Metamorpho was kind of cool.
Yeah.
For what he had to do.
Hey,
I'm
well,
struggling.
I'll tell you what. I actually did like his speech at the end where he's like,
I wake
I'm
up and
I'm
put a
hopeful.
I put one
You know,
foot on the like
No, that
everyone
was
else.
good.
I was
That
like
scared.
Like, that was
yeah,
good.
I was like, that's okay. That moment and speech is good.
What happens
And
after
then
is an issue.
and
Yeah.
what led up to it was like, I also do like the comparison, or I guess the juxtaposition, if you want to say it that way, of him watching the recording of his parents from Krypton. It's like, that's what brings him comfort. And then in the end, he's watching the videos of him growing up. It's like, those two moments, good.
It's a good concept.
What we got to, anyway, positives.
Brings him joy.
Yeah. How we got there was like, I wasn't buying it.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are going to say crypto's a positive. It wasn't a positive for me. I don't know. I think, you guys might be different.
I hate dogs,
But,
Sorry, Snips.
I mean, you can hear the dog in
Chewing
the
on-
background
she's
chewing on
a
something.
yak stick.
So.
Don't worry about it.
But stupid crypto. But I think visually there's some things that I thought were cool. Fortress of Solitude I thought looked cool. I thought the robots
coming out of the eyes.
the
That
robots
looks
looked
sick.
cool.
Also, a lot of practical stuff with the Superman robots.
Yeah. There's some nitpicks that I have with the robots, just kind of the way things were done. But I thought visually it looked cool. that's, I think for me, we've already said like the scenes with Lois and Clark, I thought worked really good. Those were probably the best scenes. When it kind of slowed down a little bit and gave you those like, oh, we're gonna have an extended conversation scene. I thought those were done pretty good, and those are the best parts. The Mr. Terrific fight scene, I think, was probably the best fight scene. Although now that I think about it more, I'm liking it less. We can talk about that a little bit, but I thought that was probably one of the highlights as far as the action goes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a little more unique.
A little more unique, and also I feel like a lot of the action scenes they showed in trailers.
Yeah.
Like you saw everything, and there wasn't anything that you're like, oh, that was incredible. So yeah, the Mr. Terrific scene I thought was probably, as far as action goes, the highlight of the action sequences. Mick, you're going to have to give us something positive because I'm done with positives, I think.
I mean, I mentioned the score earlier, and I went into the movie disappointed that they were reusing the John Williams theme.
Right.
I like when they go a different route, like what they did with, the DCEU stuff. But actually, I was a little more pleased with it than I thought, because there was more. I liked more the subtlety stuff that they wove in there that I think was more new. But yeah, I'll give that as a positive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you like it more if Hans Zimmer wrote it?
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't notice the score like at all.
Yeah.
Like it was just kind of like, oh, they're playing music. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think one thing that I liked about it is that, and I think they were doing this on purpose, is they were really trying to invoke like the Top Gun stuff. Like there was numerous times that they were stating like, yeah, we want to kind of give it the same feel, like with the flying and having that guitar stuff kind of going on. And I think when that was working, it was working. So positives.
That's I think we have we ran out of positives.
I have.
Okay, so Lex Luthor.
Okay, yeah.
This is one that's going to be a positive and a negative, but I'll do the positives. I think Nicholas Hoult did a really good job. Like there was nothing about his performance and acting that was bad.
No, not at all.
Positive. You could like tell that he hated Superman, like just despised him. That came across extremely clearly.
You could tell, and he told you.
And he told you.
he let you know.
All his cards were out.
And there was a really good moment with him trying to interrogate Superman by threatening somebody else, and it ends up in that guy's death. I thought that was
a really good scene. The Russian roulette scene.
Yeah.
And it I think for me that was his best scene, which sounds kind of bad to say like, oh, I loved it when he shot that dude in the head. I love it. You know what I mean? But it was a little comedic, not comedic, but like a little dark humor where he's like, oh, I thought that was gonna last longer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'll be back.
Yeah.
Because other than that, he doesn't have any real like physical fight or threat against Superman or anything. So that's kind of the one time we see him using violence like that. I mean, there's other moments in the film where he's using violence by shouting out
C12.
I heard a funny way to describe it is he's shouting out vitamins the entire time.
B12.
Yeah.
D5.
Which
You sunk my battleship.
that is a negative, but we'll get to that.
Vitamins?
Can't stand them. They don't work. Conspiracy.
Do we want to go into the negatives? I think it's time, guys.
I think it's time to move on to the
16 minutes
negatives.
in of positives.
So many positives.
Yes, I'll start with one, and we can kind of discuss a little bit if you guys agree with me. I feel like this movie is overstuffed with characters that don't bring anything to the movie. For example, Hawkgirl is like, why are you in here? A lot of the characters in the Daily Planet, it's like, why, like Perry White, I was like, what are you doing in here? What's the guy's name? Brazos. or the guy with the mustache.
Braza.
What's his name?
Bezos.
I don't know.
the guy that was like, "Hey,
sports
nerd."
writer.
Lombard.
Lombard. Braza was close
Brazos.
enough. The girl that just had the cleavage that was there to be like,
Cat.
oh, well, she looks hot. Whatever, there she is. They at the end of the movie they get together and are flying around,
write an
publishing,
They
writing
write
an article, and it's like, what are we doing?
In Mr. Terrific's ship.
Yeah, it just felt like even Guy Gardner. I thought he was all right, but it just felt like you put those characters in to then give them time, but the characters you want to know more about, you don't. Like I would have much rather have no Guy Gardner, no Hawk Girl, and just have Mr. Terrific in there. And you can get more about his backstory. I don't know. It just, to me, it just felt like it was overstuffed with characters that were not very good. Ma and Pa Kent, the same thing. Like you had them in there just for a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about their interpretation of them, but it just was like, it's not enough. And I felt like you kind of threw away a lot of time with these characters that didn't do anything.
Yeah, I think the focus was on things that I didn't care about. You know what I mean? Like you said, let's focus on the Justice Gang, or have scenes with the Justice Gang where Hawkgirl's just lying around reading the newspaper. You know what I mean? They're just hanging around when we could have invested that time into Ma and Pa Kent. You know what I mean? Because I think that scene that he has with his dad is really good, but then I'm like, I needed something else before that to set up the relationship aside from a stupid phone call.
Yeah.
And then I needed something more afterwards to make me feel that moment at the end where he's like, oh no, I'm good because of my parents that raised me.
Yeah.
Like that's where I get my hope and my goodness from my Earth family. That's what makes me human. But then it just didn't land. You know what I mean? Like that was the heart of the movie for me. And you got 2 minutes of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like you said, overstuffed with characters and like cut out the stupid Mr. Terrific joke about his garage door opener.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pointless.
So like a predictable, dumb joke
You can see it coming
a mile away.
As soon as that
We'll
was
take
on
my
screen,
ride.
it's like,
Yeah.
I was like, here it
everyone
comes.
knew. Okay, just do
Yeah.
the door. And blah blah.
And it's
so
like,
funny.
dude, come on. Like you literally wasted precious moments
Yeah.
for a
For a gag.
that doesn't bring anything to the story. It doesn't do anything for Mr. Terrific's character. Doesn't do anything for Lois's character. It's just a stupid joke that's a throwaway.
It was
like-
probably a good 20 seconds.
Well, he had to make
I
it
heard it's
super
longer in
long.
the extended
Yeah.
edition.
He had to make it super long to make the punchline
Yeah.
hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, like that. Things like that like annoy me. Of like, why are we spending our time on this stuff when you could be investing this in character development that makes me care more about Superman and makes me care more about Ma and Pa Kent and drives home the whole message of the movie of, hope and goodness and stuff like that. But instead it's like, well, we're going to sacrifice that because we want a couple cheap gags and jokes. It's
Yeah.
like, for me, like that's I hate that crap.
Especially for the quote unquote first movie, like the start of this new DC universe. Like why are you wasting time, like you're saying, taking away from development of characters?
Right. And
People we haven't met yet, and
Yeah.
we're looking at a stupid garage door.
he already like fast forwarded all the character development for the story because it's not an origin story, right? Which
Yep.
you can argue, do we need another Superman origin story? It's like, okay, he chose to just drop us in 3 years in, which is fine. But then you have to bring people up to speed to care about
Yeah.
the characters. I thought Lois and Superman's relationship from the get-go was good. In that scene, it was like, okay, we've established it. It's their anniversary, 3 months. Okay, we can go on from there. But I think the relationship with the parents, I think, is where they dropped the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
I just remembered when you said that we were just dropped into it 3 years. I hated how it opened.
With the
The
title.
it was like 3
stuff.
years, 3 months, 3 minutes ago. I'm like, okay, I get it. You can also explain it in a different way. There's more storytelling to just writing it on the screen.
Yeah, I like on one hand I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting how they're doing
Yeah.
that, but at the same time I'm like, how cool would it have been if they opened the movie with that battle with the Hammer of Baravia.
And if they
And you
showed
actually
him
see
like
that.
grabbing his head and like punching him and
Yeah.
leaving hair there too, so it's like, oh,
Yeah.
if you remember the beginning, that's how he got his DNA. Rather
Well,
than like I got it
and-
somewhere around.
And even if they're like, 300 years ago, the first metahumans show up. If they would have done like showing that, there's ways you can do it, whether it's through art or
Yeah,
whether
do
through
it
like
in a
mural or
creative way.
something.
Yeah.
And it's like you see some of the characters and you're like, oh my gosh, that was the first character that metahuman that was there. Like what character is that? And then you show it, and then it's even if it's like a mural or something that's going through, and then all of a sudden it's like he falls in.
Yeah.
That would have made more
Smashes
sense than
through
just
it.
reading through. It's like, and this is where the gods and monsters part of the universe
Yeah.
is. It's like, okay, you're
Which is our phase 1 for
Yeah.
the DCU, if you remember my press conference I gave. They should have done lands close up on his face, record scratch. I bet you're wondering how I got here.
yeah. There you go.
That would have been a James Gunn home run, baby.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to another complaint I have. We'll see what you guys think. Another complaint I have is what they do with Jor-El. And the whole message. The whole message, it deciphers, and it ends up being that Jor-El's like, conquer, subjugate them, have a bunch of wives. And I just thought, for me, that was like it didn't sit right with me. It's kind of like, in Man of Steel, he's like, this is the House of El. It means hope, It's beautiful how Russell Crowe talks about, like, you can save them, you can do all this thing. And then James Gunn's idea is like, hey, what does that S stand for? He's like, sexual assault. Basically. It's not hope. It's sexual assault. I'm going to subjugate you and have a harem. I hated that. And some people are trying to say like, oh, well, it's not true. They manipulated the recording. But in this movie, they don't tell
said
us
it
that.
like 7 times.
In this movie, they tell us, the engineer says, I fixed the last part of the message. Lex Luthor says, that's what the message says. He's not, you can't trust him. The U.S. government says, it's legit. That's what it says.
Yeah, Mr.
And then
Terrific
Mr.
says-
Terrific
Yeah, Mr.
says,
Terrific's like-
there's no way it can be corrupted. That's the message. So we're left saying, that's the message. According to this movie, they might change it in the sequels and be like, oh, it's actually Brainiac that manipulated it or whatever.
Yeah.
But for this movie, Jor-El is saying like, hey, we're sending you there because you're going to spread your seed and make Krypton live on through all the wives you're going to have. I hated that.
It didn't seem so believable. Like the first part of it, they're like, "Oh, love, we love you, son. You're our hope." Blah blah blah. And then it was like glitch, and it was like, "And now go kill." And conquer." Like it didn't seem. And I was like,
You know what says hope more than anything?
killing and conquering. But like,
It
he
also
must have
was
had a brittle spirit. Like you believe that? Like,
Yeah.
that dude who's going after you presents this, and you're like, "Huh, that makes sense. I didn't see that before."
It also was lazy how it was filmed. It was just kind of like, let's put them in some white suits, have them just there, generic. You know, like, I just,
We love
to me, it was like the grandeur of what came before with Krypton and how that was done to now come to this. It was just like something that was, hey, we need someone to be Jor-El. Hey, let's just do it on a weekend. Let's just come to my house. We'll kind of do it. It just put a white sheet in the background, put you in some white robes. I don't know. For me, there's an element of Krypton needs to be majestic. That wasn't. And I get it. That's not what they're going for. But to me, it just didn't work.
I don't think I have a problem with the decision to make their goal is for him to help Krypton live on and conquer, because it's like, okay, for me, like, sure, why not? And
That's
I think
what we all should be doing.
I think they said a couple. I think there's a couple of runs in the '80s where that was the goal or whatever, like in some of the comic books. So if you want to say, okay, it's comic book accurate, I don't have a problem with that. And I think it's actually an interesting idea to play with. But just what he does with it is like, it's so stupid. Like people will say, someone told me this was a nitpick, but it's like, why are we fixating on harem? We said the word harem way too many times in this movie, like 10 times too many. Like I shouldn't have said it at all. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and the fact that that's Lex Luthor's plan is he's like, you know what's really going to scare the people? Not the fact that this message says that he's supposed to conquer Earth. Let's talk about him having a harem and he needs women to, to fill the Earth with. It's like, because that's what they shoot the scene where he's like, I'm just so concerned. He might already have a harem here. You know what I mean? And then
Even Guy Gardner brings it up too when he's talking to him.
Oh yeah, and then the stupid president who's like, they love the women from Braskovia because they're the most sexy women for his harem. It's like, why did we fixate on this?
Yeah.
It seems like
Because that
Borderline
gets the
joke.
most laughs.
because harems are offensive, guys.
are they
I
harem?
don't know if you know about that, but that's why I don't have one.
But it's it's just like you could have taken that a completely different way and played with that idea of like, oh, I'm supposed to conquer these people and play that in with actual like Superman can have an issue with that. But instead we just kind of made a joke out of the harem part. And then everyone believed it, obviously, because they were like,
Well,
you just, hey, that monster, you've been here for 3 years. You've saved us, I don't know how many times. You just saved us from a giant monster who's literally laying in front of us.
About to step on
And
a
they're
squirrel.
like, hey, bro, check. What's that? What's that message?
Oh,
can you look
what?
at that and tell me
Oh my
whether
God.
or not?
Yeah.
It's
Let's
just,
start throwing bottles
it
at
was
him.
so like the switch is so like
It's also an example of, and I hate it when modern movies do this, but I feel like they really take away that timeless feel of movies when they do stuff like this, where
Yeah.
it's like he's being canceled.
yeah.
And
It seemed like a James Gunn was like, "This, I'm Superman. This is me."
I
said
think
that.
he
I'm
put
going through this myself.
he put a lot of that in about what happened with him in 2018.
But he said that though. He had a quote where he said, "The reason I love Superman so much because I see so much of him in me." And I was like, "Dude, you're not Superman, bro." Like, but he did bring a lot of that stuff over. Even the cancel culture monkeys that were typing, like that was might be the dumbest thing I've ever seen in a movie. Like,
One of them had a Snyder shirt on. Too.
I don't doubt it. But that to me, that scene, I was tracking a little bit with it. I was like, okay, all right. Once it hit that, it went to like super silly with the monkeys, and then he's like, how do you keep a super dog busy? Well, you project super squirrels into his brain and he'll be running after them until he gets so tired that we'll put him down. I was like, what is going on here?
I do agree that it's ridiculous and I could have done without it, but I think you could argue that it does fit in the type of movie that they made. Like to me, it didn't like come out of nowhere. If I had seen that in Man of Steel, that would have been like, what in the world are they doing? Like they fired a writer and then hired some new guy and he just did whatever he wanted. Like,
I don't know. The tone feels all over the place though. Like you go from like Crypto seeing a bunch of squirrels to playing Russian roulette and shooting somebody in the head.
Yeah,
and then like it's like whoa.
So that's I'll bring up. This is my main. I think this is my main like problem with the movie is Lex Luthor is mostly. Like, I'm supposed to believe, for one, we already talked about it, right? He hates Superman for some reason. He brings up, like, oh, I'm envious of him. Okay. But we don't know why. He doesn't really bring up any, like, reasons why. We don't see why. He just tells us,
and
right?
there's more metahumans in the world, so why is he just jealous
Right.
of
Why doesn't he like Why doesn't he hate Guy Gardner?
Yeah.
Also, he talks about we need to kill Superman, and he has the opportunity to kill Superman, but he doesn't.
mm-hmm.
Right? It's like, so...
What does he say?
He's like, this goal is for us to...
The defense department needs to interrogate you first or something, and then I'll kill you.
Yeah, it's like, well, that's dumb.
Yeah.
But as far as Lex Luthor goes as a villain, it's like, he's a super genius, right? And he says that multiple times in the movie, like, brain beats brawn. But then it's...
1A.
Exactly. But like the way that it like plays out, it's like you're surrounded by buffoons, essentially. And I hate that about James Gunn movies generally. All these people look super goofy on purpose, right? You got a guy with giant glasses like me, looking like an idiot,
with a mustache
and a dumb mustache. And they like they're super goofy over the top people, and then they're like playing Street Fighter, basically, right? And so I'm supposed to believe he's a super genius and he's a super villain, but he does that, and then he lets a girlfriend go everywhere with him and take selfies of all his stuff, top secret documents. And that's what eventually leads him, like, oh, that's what ruins him. You know what I mean? Because, oh, well, she happened to, whether or not she did it on purpose. It's like, it doesn't matter whether she did it on purpose. Lex Luthor shouldn't even allow anyone to compromise him in that way.
Why is he taking her to Antarctica?
Right.
To the Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, I don't know.
It just makes someone who's a super genius look like an idiot. And then you look at him with like, you have that. This is what like annoys me about the tone thing is like people are like, well, that's just the tone of the movie. And it's like, but the tone is dissonant because you have Lex Luthor who's kind of like has these dumb people in the thing, and then he's going to play Russian roulette with somebody and shoot him in the head. You're like, that's not the same tone. And for me, I would rather them lean into I need to be scared of Lex Luthor because in this movie, I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, well, you're a super genius, but you're going to name a country after Lutherville, Luthertopia. You know what I mean? It's like.
That's a carryover from Lex being evil stuff that I could do without so easily. Like, that's like the Richard Donner Superman.
Yeah.
That's the Gene
Lex
Hackman.
Lex just wants real estate. Like, I hate that plot that he has, and that was annoying seeing that. Even though it wasn't very, prominent in this movie, it was still there. Like, why can't they just do something else?
Well, Lex? And you're right. Like, the other problem with Lex for me is like he has these moments where he's just telling. Like, I leaned over to Josh at one point when they're in the Fortress of Solitude, and he's like saying, I was like, he's giving an exposition of why he hates Superman and this whole thing. I was like, who is he talking to? Right? Because I'm like, the camera's like focused on him. It's like he's looking at me and being like, let me tell you a little story. Like, it's like Jim Halpert, in The Office, like making eye contact with the camera. Like, it just felt so over the, I don't know, like cartoonish. And I get it. People keep saying like praising this because like, oh, it's so comic booky is like the new like praise of it. But I'm like, but it also has to work as a movie. It's not a comic book.
Yeah.
Yes, it's inspired by a comic book, but it needs to work as a movie.
It's got to translate.
And it doesn't to me because it's so over the top. It's so over the top and it's everywhere. And the motivations just don't make sense to me. And like you said, it's kind of like, oh, I hate him because he's got a cocky grin and he's, and everyone loves him on social media. So I'm going to make my monkeys, call him super crap, like
super poop.
It's just so,
Super poop.
Yeah, to me, it just didn't work.
Yeah, I think it's said in the movie that the reason why he hates him so much is because he's the most powerful metahuman of them all, and he's an alien. But then it's not really. That's it. Like, that's where they leave it. They don't go into it any deeper, or
They don't tell you why.
Right.
Yeah,
Why does that bother him so much?
Exactly.
Like, there's no
like some family got killed or something.
Well,
Right.
and again, I don't want to make comparisons to BVS, but whether you like BVS or not, Lex Luthor in that there's multiple times where he talks about the reason he hates him is because he views him as a god. And he has an issue with his trauma as a child and what was done to him and how he believes this whole idea that everyone faces is this idea of, why wasn't I spared from these terrible things that happened in my life? And then a guy shows up that could stop those things, and you're like, what the heck? Mm-hmm. So whether you like that explanation or not, that is delved into through conversations that he has with other people
Not
in
just
those
himself.
moments, not just with him being like, well, let me tell you something. Let me say this as loud as I can. It just, again, you needed to have a little more backstory to it, and you could have cut out some of those characters to allow for that to happen where Lex is having conversations. Instead, we get the whole, like, newscast. And you mentioned this about, like, I think, or maybe you did make, like, this whole idea, like, everyone believes the newscast just comes out, and all of a sudden there's a flip of the switch and everyone hates Superman now. Well, they do the exact same thing at the end of the movie.
Right.
Right? And
Guess we should say we're sorry
the
now.
fact that Lex was, like, found out to be, like, doing all this stuff doesn't negate the fact that the message still says, hey, you got to subjugate these people and have wives. So, like, they don't address, like, if there was a guy be like, actually, it's all fake. The message is fake. They didn't do that. The message is still legit. So everyone's like, hey, you saved us. You know, yeah, you came to subjugate us and all that stuff, but don't worry. Like, they never solved that issue. It's just kind of left as a plot hole. And then it's like, oh, we got Lex, so we're all good now. It just, again, to me seems lazy writing. Like, they needed something. That leads to my other thing. I think Krypto is really lazy as far as like, how can we get Superman out of this situation? He saves Superman like 3 or 4 times, and they do it the same way where he's like, and it's like, oh no, here he comes again. I just imagine like James writing this script and he hands it in. The guy's like, hey, you had, what are you going to do about this part here where Superman's about to get, we got to get him out of this situation. What can we do? And James goes like, why don't we have him whistle and have Krypto? And he's like, yeah, James, but you've already done that twice. He's like, oh, no, it's fine. It's Krypto.
They're going to love it. They're going to love it.
It just felt like, again, he's a MacGuffin. He's a crutch. He's cute. So, and everyone loves dogs, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of cute.
So I just,
cute dog.
that just to me felt lazy and a way to get out of these situations. It was always like, let's just use Krypto again. And then at the end of the movie, it's like, hey, Krypto, you're not really my dog. Go with Supergirl, because now we're going to have Krypto in the Supergirl movie. So I'm like, great.
Yeah. That's one of my least favorite scenes. Talking about Lex and Krypto. It's like, oh, we're finally going to have a moment where Lex gets to explain why Krypto just is ragdolling him. Okay. It's just like the Hulk Loki moment.
Yeah.
It's just a recycled joke. It's the exact same joke. And I've seen people like, I thought that was hilarious. It was so funny. I was like, Lex Luthor's dead right now. Krypto murdered him. He just straight up ripped his arm off. That's what had happened.
Was that ever in the comics like that? Like something like that, where it's like, oh, we have this like monologue and then something interrupts it? Or is that just now comedy?
Like, I mean, it probably was, but in terms of like being a popular common trope that happened in comics, I don't think so. I think that really was like like Josh said, I think that kind of started with Joss Whedon and the Avengers, and then after that it was like, we have to do that for everything because that was such a funny moment. People love undercutting something serious with a stupid joke, and I wouldn't be surprised if now they try to weave that in the comics. But I don't think that was really a thing.
No, yeah,
there's definitely comedy in comics before, but
I think it's a modern like movie thing that like, oh, this is when let's subvert the cliche of someone monologuing,
and it's so lazy and just it's not funny.
Yeah,
this is not funny.
I think they do it funny in Shazam where he's like talking and he can't hear him.
Oh, and he's far away.
Yeah, and he's like, what is it? I think that's a fun okay, that's a more interesting way to do it. Yeah. But like just to do like the person's about to speak and he gets hit by a bus or what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That just kind of annoyed me because it just added to like, oh, I don't care about Lex or his motivation. He's not a scary villain if it's he's just a punchline at the end of the day.
And that scene started really well with Superman coming in and giving his speech. And they had a really good opportunity to, like you said, get that back and forth with him and Lex. And then
Lex could even go into like why he hates him so more. He could have some back and forth.
I mean, he
but
loves
he just stood there
monologuing about it. So
now he has actually somebody to talk to.
The other stuff, I don't know what you got. The needle drops, the music that was in this movie that wasn't the score, the Mr. Terrific song I thought was ruined.
Yeah, why'd you hate that fight scene so much?
So I liked it at the beginning, but the reason I hate more thinking about it, I didn't like the needle drop. It was like you have an epic moment, but then the more I thought about it, I was like, because someone posted it, and I watched it, and I was like, they focus a lot on Lois's face reacting to what he's doing, and I was like, I didn't realize they did that so much. And she's kind of just like looking and the guy's falling around. And the music just makes that seem more like, I don't know, just goofy.
I mean,
and I was like, it was an epic moment, but it was like, hey, it can't be that cool. It's kind of like if I don't know. It's just weird.
To me, it was like, hey, we had this really funny scene in Guardians 2 with Yondu and his
Yeah.
arrow flying all over the place.
That's what it is.
And there was
Yeah,
a pop
that's what it
song.
is.
We got to do that again. It was like, okay.
That's what it is. Yeah, you're right.
James Gunn greatest hits, baby.
I wonder if you overlay
Keep 'em
those
rolling.
movies, how much would like overlap
Line
at the
up.
same time points too. Here's Yondu's thing.
Yeah.
Got to do it.
see what you're
The
saying.
other one, and then the other song that I think is more egregious is "Cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. I'm a punk rocker, yes I am." Like that, I was shocked how they ended the movie with that because they have this thing going back and forth, and I get the theme James Gunn is going for, being like Lois being like, "I'm punk rock," and he's like, "You're not punk rock. I'm punk rock. I like the Krabby Patty crab punkers." And she's like,
Mighty Crab Joy.
they're a bad band. And he's like, "No, I love the Krabby Patty Crab Joys." And then she goes to Kansas and she's like, "Oh my gosh, he has a poster of the Krabby Patty Punky Jokies." And then it, you know, so like they have this go back and forth, like punk being nice to people is punk rock. And then he's like, shall we play the message of your parents? And they show where it should be emotional, where it's showing like him growing up with Mom and Pa Kent, and they put this stupid song as it's going on, and it just, to me, it totally destroyed the moment. And it's like hitting you over the head, like, "Hey, remember we said that thing about punk rock, guys? Yeah, and what the new punk rock is? Well,
Be
yeah."
kind, Jonah. It's so
You just
punk rock.
summarized
my
the whole movie.
gosh.
Do you remember when we did this? Here, let me spoon feed you another joke.
And I just thought it was a huge miss. And I get it. People like that stuff.
You don't understand it, Jonah.
But
it's hopeful.
I don't like that stuff.
You're gonna get it.
We've talked about this before. Like when movies do that, when they throw in like a pop song or a modern, like Black Adam did it with like
Painted Black.
Yeah. There's so many superhero movies that do it that it just feels like you're stripping the epicness. Like, give me a score, give me a soundtrack in there that would, like, it's your perfect time to do that. But when they do that, it didn't work for me. I don't know about you guys.
I love it. I forgot to mention this in the positives. On the top of my list, I was like punk rock.
Yeah.
You know what I love? People that describe things as punk rock. That's my favorite thing in the world. You describe yourself as being punk rock? Okay, I like you.
I did like his line, though, about, like, maybe that's the real punk rock, where he was like, I forget what he said. But
Yeah,
like something
like,
about like
yeah.
loving people and caring
Right.
about people.
I don't know what that means, though.
It's because, Jonah,
Like,
it's because you're not punk rock.
Because you're
dude.
not punk rock.
rock.
You-
No,
you
you're
don't
not
know.
like,
hardcore.
I know what they're trying to. I know what they're
Unless you
trying to
live
say.
hardcore.
I know what they're trying to say.
The legend of the rent was way hardcore.
I understand. It's like, oh,
So
you
you
go.
think you'll be just fine.
Stop. You're going against. It's like counterculture and like all that kind of. Yeah, but it's just a dumb phrase.
The
Like,
vest-
you know what real punk rock is? Loving people.
Punk rock as the vessel for that message is stupid. You know what I mean? Like, because it didn't have any basis at all. There was no basis to. It's just in a conversation where she's like, "I'm punk rock," because like Lois,
how are you punk
I don't
rock?
see you. I don't see you having a lip ring.
She's like,
You know
I
what I'm
used to
saying?
date the vocalist for Blink 182.
Yeah, that would have been better.
Yeah, there you go.
Travis, I love. What's the drummer's name? Travis Barker.
Travis Barker.
Yeah. It's like I nursed him back to health after that plane crash, dude. Where were you, Superman?
yeah, where were you?
Where were you?
Oh, you
could have
caused
stopped
that
that.
plane.
You
You
could have
caused
stopped
that.
that. But yeah, that was one of my pet peeves. Is like this punk rock message that I feel like came out of left field. I think there's a better way to deliver that message of, hey, kindness is a cool thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll bring I'll bring up a pet peeve a little bit, or a complaint. It's like,
Yeah, bring him on. Bring him on.
we see Superman, like their whole emphasis on Superman is hopeful Superman. Like, wow, he's so hopeful. He's, no matter who it is, he's gonna save their lives. We see him save a squirrel, right?
Wow.
They're like hitting you over the head with how good he is, and then he has no moral quandary of killing a clone of himself. He like boots him off into the black hole, and then he's like, the next scene is, "Hey, Superman, what are you doing up?" Then he's like, "I'm doing important things." It's like there wasn't
Well,
a.
then he like
there-
laser faces all the guys, all the raptors.
No, but they were fine. They fell 600
Yeah.
feet to the ground, and they were like moving around a little bit.
I mean, he did it to
they
like
might be paralyzed.
100 of them, and then 7 were like, oh. I was
Yeah.
like, where are the other 9.
So
They're
that's
still falling.
That just seems like there's a lot of inconsistency, I think, in the movie. Whereas, like, you could, how does he? We're told, or we're shown at least, that Superman is so emotionally involved with all these people.
I mean, he also was like so annoyed that they were killing the kaiju. You know, he wanted to save the kaiju.
Right.
And well, for a dumb reason. Let's study it. Let's put it on another planet. Where, bro? Like,
Well, maybe he'll figure it out. But yeah, it just seemed like kind of a throwaway. Like, well, Ultraman's your clone now. All right.
He's like, my brother.
That
You're my
probably
bro.
is my biggest pet peeve, and I think the biggest miss of the movie is they had so much potential to do something interesting with his clone. Like, even from the clone's perspective, we never got anything verbal from
No, 'cause,
like what
well,
the clone was feeling. Or
Supposedly he was so dumb. That's why he had to.
exactly, and I wish they didn't do that because I think that would have been kind of a cool storyline to dive into his psyche and just like how does he feel about this type of stuff. But there was nothing. He just was reduced to, like you said, just a dumb robot basically that just listened to commands.
It makes me think of the Scrubs episode where they JD has the fantasy of burying Turk's testicle. And he grows another Turk, and they're like, Turk, he's beautiful. And he's like, wah, 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 wah. He's like, he can't even speak. He's an idiot. And he's like, you're making him sad. And then he attacks them. That's what Ultraman was.
Exactly what it is.
They should. That's what it should have been at the end,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where the robots are there, and then he's like, Superman's there, and he's got to get his boots off, so he goes, A1. And the Ultraman comes up and unzips his boots and takes it off.
Or even like make it a moment between him and Lex, where
Yeah.
Lex is like, this guy is subhuman. I don't respect him at
Yeah.
all. And Superman gets the chance to show, like, no, I value all life,
Yeah.
even my clone that's a dummy. You know what I mean? Like, that's a better message to me than showing him like, oh, I saved a squirrel. That's so
Yeah.
nice of him. What a great guy. You know what I mean? It's like a missed opportunity. Like, it gives more depth to Lex Luthor as like, oh yeah, he's a piece of trash, and it gives more depth
Yeah.
to
And then
Superman. And then you can pay off Ultraman later if you turn him into Bizarro or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I think will happen.
Right. He'll come back as Bizarro. But at least then you have
Ultraman will return.
at least then you have a baseline of
Yeah.
like, this is what Superman's relationship was with him at this point. How is he going to reconcile that later when Bizarro comes back and he needs to defeat him? You know what I mean? But
Yeah, because there really wasn't any reaction from Superman other than Lex.
How'd you get my stuff?
How'd you do
crazy.
this? You're crazy.
Yeah.
Like, there's this
That's
one
my
time you
clone.
were fighting and you left a hair behind.
Yeah, it's
which
like,
is so.
And I made a clone
Yeah.
out of your hair.
yeah. So that was
Show
really
me that.
disappointing, and just the way that they like revealed that it was a clone, it was like it just kind of fell flat. Like
Yeah.
like it wasn't done interesting,
No.
and they could have done something really good with it.
And they kind of already spoiled it when they like go to the Fortress of Solitude and it opens up and he's like, oh,
Right.
how
How
did
did
it
it
here? It
I'm
only
glad
had
that
my
they
DNA.
They didn't at least like do one shot of Ultraman, because that would have like
Yeah.
really pushed it over the edge.
Yeah.
But I feel like everybody knew, like, okay, it's probably just a clone.
Yeah. The other complaint, I think we've talked a little bit about it, but the whole Jimmy Olsen, messing around with Lex's girlfriend.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Like,
It just seemed like another, again, lazy. Like, how are we going to have them figure out? And we need them to do some investigating. So how can they
if only
pick
they
up
had
pieces?
reporters, investigative reporters that could have done some of this
How
work.
can they put this together? Oh, yeah, we'll have this girl that's kind of ridiculous that she's going around everywhere with Lex, especially when Lex already locked up his ex-girlfriends. Like, do you not learn? It just
Maybe Zack
it
Snyder
was
knew what he was
weird.
doing with Jimmy Olsen.
do you think
That's
it would
why he
be,
killed him.
Put
do
a
you think it'd
bullet
be
in his
different? It'd
head.
be like, instead of they had like a relationship, like old boyfriend and girlfriend, like that's his sister or something.
No,
Like,
it's just when you play her
I
off.
tried.
When you play a character
Get
off,
out of here.
when you play a character off as an idiot, you know, like she's always just taking selfies.
But she
and
wasn't
being
an
like,
idiot because she was purposely
Right.
taking
Dude,
pictures of
but
that
she
stuff.
knew.
It just seems like
Who's the
it's
idiot
just
now?
not. It's just not funny. It's not good. It's not interesting.
And she goes
Also-
literally around the corner
Yeah.
to go like, oh, Jimmy, are you okay? Are you
Yeah.
going to go out with me this
It's
weekend?
like the dude has
the whole weekend.
The dude has surveillance over everything. You don't think he has access to your cell phone?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's wild.
That's
The smartest guy in the universe.
But again, it's
Yeah.
like you're shutting your brain off to be like, okay, that doesn't make, that's fine. It's fine. The other thing, I don't think this movie is visually
it's bright.
interesting. Like even the Pocket Universe place, it was like, okay, it's a dark place with they're on a
reminded me of
hoverboard
Minecraft.
and a bunch
It
of like
reminded me of
I didn't like
Cabin in the Woods. You guys seen
a
that?
little
I've
bit,
seen
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they're just
Minor
kind of in these
spoilers.
glass cages.
I didn't like the glass cage.
The glass, yeah, I thought the glass cages looked
That was
pretty
pretty
lame.
dumb.
So to me, it was just like it's not even that's not that interesting. Again, it's the same cinematographer as The Flash, and it showed. Like there's stuff that I was like, that looks bad. You're just in the desert, open space, kind of floating heads. It's just kind of there was nothing there that I was like, wow, that looks amazing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Man of Steel set such a high bar for what visually Superman could look like on
Yeah.
the screen. And I mean, I know we're probably in the minority when we say that because a lot of reviews I've seen for this movie is it looks amazing. It looks so good. And
But even the kaiju, I was like, this is a lazy. It's like
He didn't look too bad.
Nah,
Like, he looked
I thought
fine.
you're talking just the design of him.
the design.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, you have an opportunity to make something interesting looking, and it just looked like. You know, even the baby kaiju when it runs, it's like that's
think
a
even-
small distraction. It'll grow.
I
Like,
think even changing some colors on him would have done a lot. 'Cause
Yeah,
he was
make
just
him
kind of
darker.
A gray blob.
yeah, I don't know, just those kind of things.
I don't know.
I didn't like the scenes of flying though. Like I just didn't like the fisheye lens going back and forth in front of his face.
I
just
thought it
hated
looked worse in the trailers. The one that did look bad was when he goes back, when he's like, "Where's my dog?" And he's flying really fast, and his arms look like they're really long. I was like, "Oh, Reed Richards made a cameo." But yeah, to me, again, the other thing is I'm shocked that we
Are
didn't
you?
that we didn't get, because the way I saw this movie is James Gunn basically had a list of things that people wanted and was like, red trunks, there you go.
Check it out.
Saving a cat and a dog and a squirrel, there you go. Evacuating people so that the city's empty, there you go.
Jimmy Olsen sex
Jimmy
people?
Olsen, like he had a list of things that he, like crypto, there it is. I'm surprised there was no shot of Clark Kent ripping open the shirt
changing in a phone booth.
and doing that. I'm shocked that there was not that. And it's kind of interesting that there is only one shot that I'm like, that's a Superman shot. Is that one they showed in
Yeah.
the trailers where he's sitting in the dust.
That was sick.
I was kind of shocked that there wasn't more like iconic shots. I guess an iconic shot is him getting hit in the nuts in the stadium.
Could have done without that one.
That was
bad.
dumb. But to me, I'm like, you've got one job to do, and you didn't put those in there. It was weird. That was a little weird to me because even if you go back to, let's not use Man of Steel so that people can be like, oh, they're Snyder Bros. But
I'm not a Snyder bro, for one.
but the
the
Brandon
Red-
Routh
the Red
one,
show.
like the Brandon Routh has some scenes that you're like, even the bullet to the eye,
Very iconic.
like.
I see what you
iconic.
did. I see what you did there.
Ooh.
Wow.
But there's like shots that you're like, that's a shot. That's a Superman shot. This one, besides that one, it's strange to me.
Yeah, it's like they forgot. Like, oops, we forgot the really kind of classic, iconic
Important
Superman
ones.
stuff.
Because they
Have
were
him
so
flying next
focused.
to a train. Beat it. You know.
Yeah. It was just, that was weird. I just thought they'd have more of that. And again, there's nothing that was really like, to me, that was like, that's a cool scene.
Yeah.
Action wise with Superman that I was like, because the fight in the stadium was pretty generic. Even the nano things was weird.
The
like
nanite stuff.
put it in his lungs.
Well, it doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that's how Superman works.
That's not how the Superman works.
Because if he doesn't need to breathe in space. He
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
uses the sun's
That's
radiation.
what-
So I don't know exactly.
The logistics of it.
Yeah.
Like, would that actually work? Because at that point, they could
Maybe-
technically drown him.
Well, even the
Yeah.
lady
As
was
long
like,
as they
even
kept
the
him
lady's like,
underwater long
he
enough?
can breathe for hours. He cannot breathe for hours.
And they're
He's
like, not if-
not
not if the
there's
oxygen-
nanobites in
yeah.
his lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, because then they showed like the whatever it is the mid credit scene is him in space with Crypto, and
Yeah, on the
Will
friggin' moon.
was like, "Wait, how
can only be there for
how
an
can he's
hour?
in space? I was like, I don't know,
And
dude.
it goes back to the thing, like Lex Luthor was waiting for permission to kill him from the government. Like he could have just who's gonna know?
Well,
if he just, like-
he was going to kill him at that point too,
Yeah.
and it's like you had him in a cage with kryptonite. You could have
Yeah.
shot him in the head.
Right.
So that's Anyway, very inconsistent across the board, I think.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not gonna clear you. I'll just clear your buddy that gave you some food once, because I'm gonna ask who your parents are.
Yeah,
Really? That's the information you want? Who the parents? I mean, here's the thing too. I'm like, that kind of stuff. Like, I need to find out who. Maybe I'll kill Clark Kent because he's getting all the interviews. I'm like, the smartest man in the world. You went after the falafel guy instead of going first for the guy that's
right. You should've
interviewing
started with
Superman.
Clark.
But here's the thing too. The beginning of the movie, it's like we gotta find. Like, the engineer follows him, and then figures out where the Fortress of Solitude is. Like, if you can do that, if you can have someone keep up with Superman, why don't you just follow him when he goes back to Kansas?
well,
That shot, speaking of that shot kind of bugged me because he flies right over her.
Yeah, like, how did he
She's
not
a
see
dark
her?
speck in white.
I thought about that too.
I'm like, couldn't they have like had her like hiding or something? Or like,
Nah.
but
The
then
nano-
she
the
he
nanobots.
flew right over her.
and then she,
how
like,
did he not
blinking.
see
He
that?
blinked, Mick.
And then she gets back to Lex in like 5 minutes
Yeah.
with the rocket she's got.
How did
the,
he
that's
land
the other thing
there
too
to
that
begin
drove
with?
me.
You know what I mean? He got punched by him and landed.
Oh, yeah.
20 feet.
Well,
from
the
his
other
place.
thing too, I'm like, okay, that was another thing too. They had several lines where she's like, I gave up my humanity for this. And I was like, can you explore that a little bit? Can you give me a little bit about her? Because she seemed in moments where she was like, she was annoyed with his girlfriend, but she was also like, there was a struggle there. I was like, I don't know anything about her. I don't know what happened, who she was, what the reasoning is, why she's doing this. The same thing with all the other guys that are like the nerds that are like, why do you guys want to kill Superman? Like, why are you guys all with Lex? Like, that's not explained. It's just like, yeah, what? A1, 1A, 1A, 2B, 57. It's just a weird, like, massive plot hole. Like, don't worry about
You
it.
don't like comic books?
That's too comic booky for me. So it's just, there's just so many things. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
I know you mentioned his parents too. I know you're going to say something too, Cube.
Don't get me started on the Kents.
Yeah,
Hey, Moss, are you over there, baby? Hey,
tube.
yeah.
hey, you might want to
There
come
on
in
a tube.
the magic square that has Fox News on
Sorry,
it.
sorry to our listeners in Kansas.
That's what James Gunn thinks he's
Yeah,
talking
that's what James Gunn thinks.
Go
And
turn
I was
on your tube.
we talked about Ultraman's IQ.
Yeah.
The Kents are like, their IQ is like maybe one above Ultraman's. Like how they're portrayed. Is my boy gonna be okay, Mrs. Lulu?
Like, dude, he takes his energy from the sun.
Yeah, no.
He's going
Yeah.
to be fine.
It's like, don't worry. I'm sure you guys, you guys raised him. You know that he's pretty invincible,
probably know.
right? I'm not sure he's going to be okay, but at least
Yeah.
we got
He's
the
a big
Krabby
softy.
Patty Pie poster on the wall there, so you know my son is punk
He's
rock.
punk rock.
Even though here in Kansas, all we listen to is Garth Brooks.
Yeah, I feel like that was definitely a miss for me. Like
was
just
it was definitely a
just the
choice.
portrayal of them of like he had a dial and he was like, we're taking it to
Yeah.
hillbilly redneck, marry your sister type of
Yeah.
hillbilly. That's where we're going on the dial.
We
Yeah.
went and got some
When you could have gone like
burritos.
Nashville, like country music star.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know?
that's right. Yeah, that's what we needed, you know?
Yeah, I feel like caricatures.
Yeah.
Not.
He could have gone Yellowstone. He could have gone Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner
He
again.
could have gone Kevin Costner
He's,
Yellowstone.
Yeah.
But yeah, he went Deliverance.
Yeah, he went full. I'm surprised there wasn't guys
like,
were
hey,
like playing the
there's
bottle. Yeah. Maybe that was a cut scene where he's like, "Hey, we're having a hoedown, Clark.
Yeah.
You want to see some real
like,
punk rock, Miss Lane?"
We went to the restaurant the other day. It was still good.
It's another nitpick too, but I don't like the reasoning of why they chose that house for the Kents.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Just such a weird, like, well, that's the houses that I grew up at, and that's what I've seen in the country. It's like, well, that doesn't mean that's what you have to choose.
Yeah.
Choose something more visually interesting. Just a
Well, that was the
double
thing.
wide trailer. Is,
It feels like he wanted to be like, I'm good again. subvert expectations.
He wanted to
Like
get the-
you've seen,
he wanted to get
you've
the
seen the
pores on
house
his
in
side.
Smallville. Well, guess what? We got a trailer, baby.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not a good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
wow.
I think the problem is that if the story and the main parts of the like movie were better or good, the nitpicks don't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you forgive them, but since everything else doesn't land, you just like keep like
The
looking at
nitpicks
you're
really
like you're like,
stick
oh
out.
well, what about this? What about this?
Yeah.
Because even when he at the end with Jimmy Olsen and Perry White, he's like, how long has that been going on? He's like, oh, about 3 months. It's like, so Jimmy Olsen and Perry White know about Superman dating Lois,
Yeah.
but Lex Luthor doesn't.
Well, there's the other thing
Shema.
too. There's the other thing
Shema,
too.
son.
They know. Yeah. That's exactly it. Like
It
Lex
just-
Luthor, the
so
smart, one of the
inconsistent.
smartest guys in the universe, and again, he doesn't think he wouldn't track Clark Kent, who's writing articles about Superman, who's having interviews. Like you wouldn't put those two together. Lois Lane, hanging out with this same guy, getting an interview from Superman. That's not where you're going for. You're going after the falafel guy again. Like it's just again, it's not thought out, and it's just done for a joke. Like for the sake of the joke, we're gonna undercut everything else because we need a funny joke here.
Yeah. Even like going back to like the thing that annoys me about the prison thing is like, oh, Lex Luthor is so bad. He has his girlfriend there. You know, like, oh, she wrote a blog about him. Like that whole scene with like you have very serious moments like we talked about the Russian roulette, very dark, very serious. And then you have these people that are like, hey, this guy's trying something. Hey, let us out. It's like, what,
He's freaking Superman.
what is
Don't you want him to
happening
help
here?
you?
Also, don't get me like that dude just sits in that cube with that baby that whole time. That's his job. He's like, all right,
He's like, hey,
I gotta
Joey,
clock out, Jimmy. Switch me out. You know,
Do you have to feed the baby?
exactly. It's just like
Change his
weird
diaper?
things.
It's a little stinky.
And I
And no one ever says anything about that. Like that guy's like, man, this job sucks. I gotta
Yeah.
hold this baby
I gotta-
in this
yeah.
pocket universe.
yeah, it sucks, dude.
Quitting time, he doesn't go home and be like, how was work today, honey? He's like, that baby's driving me nuts. What baby? Well, the one I'm holding in the pocket universe from that Metamorpho guy. And
Yeah.
you turn into dust in any element. She's like, honey.
You don't know how hard my day was today. All right,
None of
honey.
those people ever say like, hey, my husband worked. Especially how the news travels so fast in Metropolis.
exactly.
All it takes is one video to be like, my husband works for Lex Luthor. He's in a pocket universe holding a baby hostage.
Well, yeah.
What?
It's another nitpick, and I think I mentioned it at the theater, but it's like they get all these people out of the pocket universe. They come off the plane, and suddenly they're like, Jessica. You're like, where did you come from? How did you know that they were coming out right here?
The
Like,
entire
there's,
city
there's
was
no
evacuated.
We
way.
evacuated the city in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
11 million people. And,
And then
then,
they-
when we
they made
were
it back.
leaving, we got a text from the attorney general that said, hey, your daughter that's been missing for so long, guess
Yeah.
what? We found her in a pocket
found
Meet
her.
universe.
her here. I'll drop a pin for you.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But
yeah.
it's just like annoying, like small things like that. That it's
Yeah.
like I can forgive that if
The movie's good.
If I have something else to hold on to, like a good Lex Luthor, but like
Yeah.
everything, all these nitpicks like build up to like kind of chipping away at him as a lot of these, at least for me, are like just ruin him as a villain, like unbelievable, incompetent, surrounded by buffoons, essentially.
Yeah, and so the end of the movie, the other thing that happens is Supergirl shows up and she's drunk and she's like,
She's hungover,
okay,
bro.
she's
Get it
hungover,
right.
but she's like,
There's a difference.
Yeah,
Crypto is her dog, and she's like, thanks, biatch.
But it makes so much sense, Joe.
And people laugh,
Doesn't
and
it?
then that's kind of the
mismannered.
that's the next movie that's coming out in the DC. And what makes me what I bring this up is, does that make you excited for the next movie in this universe?
No.
Because we got Superman.
Yes.
We're getting the new Supergirl, Peacemaker 2, Creature Commandos 2, and then Clayface. So that's what we have coming up, and this universe is supposed to take off with this movie. How does that get you excited for what's next? To me, it seems like a really weird choice to do that.
But yeah, I think what's weird though, I think we're like in the minority.
Which is crazy. Like, how
But,
are we?
but actually, like you liked it more than we did.
I probably liked it more.
So are you excited?
not great, but-
Excited for like the DCU moving forward?
I want to be.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, there's actual 3 minorities here: black man and 2 Mexicans.
Oh.
Yeah, I've
Careful
got
what
some, but yeah, the way that they introduced Supergirl, it's like, why on earth would you start off that character like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her suit also sucks too.
I think from
Yeah.
Like it's the same.
freaking
Like ill-fitting.
WCW.
Ill-fitting. I don't
CW?
get it.
the CW
WCW.
Supergirl suit was better.
Yeah.
That was wild. Okay, sorry, I don't mean to jump in, but
Yeah.
the rumors were that there were like at the end of this movie, everyone's going to get new suits because Superman inspires. Like, no, they still end up with the crappy suits. Like, I couldn't believe how crappy these suits look.
Yeah, they're pretty dumb.
They're so bad. Even Mr. Terrific's, I'm like, dude, your face looks really cool, but the rest of you looks really stupid.
Yeah.
Like even your shoes, I'm like, come on.
I honestly wasn't a huge fan of Superman's suit.
no, it
and a
looked
lot
bad.
like
There's
it-
like
a
one
little
or two
baggy.
shots that I liked it, but that was
Um,
about it.
But yeah, with the Supergirl stuff, it's like I guess technically that's the storyline for whatever it is. Woman of Tomorrow is
Woman of Tomorrow.
that's the comic it's based off of. So apparently that's the storyline. Is she goes to different planets and she parties
because
so like,
she's so much of a mess,
right.
She's
that she
dealing with
needs to
trauma
cope
Yeah, she's
with
dealing-
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the opposite of like we relate to Superman because he inspires us good, and then we relate to her because we're all bad. Like we've gone through stuff, but we can become better.
She's the real punk.
Do you
That's
trust
right.
him to do that story
No.
well? Like,
Well,
to
no.
have like a story like that, like so much trauma. Like, are you actually going to show that stuff and then?
No, he's
Let
not
us
going
sit
to,
in their
and that's why he
feelings?
made
Or
Crypto
just
go
make
with
a
her
bunch
because
of
he's like, guys,
jokes?
guess what? I've got a way out of every conflict.
I don't think
Crypto.
Did he write it?
He's writing it now. He's.
Oh, is he?
I think.
I don't know.
I think he said he's been working on it with whatever
With
they
the
got
writer,
the guy.
the comic book writer.
But it's the same thing. Like James Gunn did the same thing with The Flash, and he's like, you know what? I got some great notes for you guys. George Clooney's the Batman. He shows up and his tooth
Well,
falls out.
hey, Momoa's
You're welcome.
Momoa's
You're
logo,
welcome.
dude.
James Gunn, you guys keep him away. Keep him away from these stuff.
With the also introducing Supergirl. I think I mentioned this on Sunday, Mick, but it's like you introduce Supergirl, who he has a relationship with. Clearly, they have an established relationship.
Yes.
And it's like
3 years.
Kara wasn't like, "Hey, that message about your parents." That's not what they like, or she couldn't explain it to him, or
Yeah.
didn't give him a heads up that she was like, "Hey, this is actually what the mission is."
Yeah,
You
by
know
the
what I
way,
mean?
he's like, by the way, I'm supposed to have a ton of husbands too.
I'm supposed to have a harem.
Too late.
But yeah, it's another one of those continuity things that's
Yeah.
like
They don't think about it.
that kind of, they surely had a conversation about this. You know
I
what I
don't know.
mean? They surely would have, because instead he's just like, "That's
He's
my
like,
cousin.
hey, do you remember my parents?
Yeah,
She just
Uncle
got back.
Jor?
yeah.
Uncle Jor? Yeah, Uncle Jor was he would get drunk and beat your mom. Like that's
She's like, "How many hoes you got now?"
yeah. It's just kind of like, yeah, you're right. It's like they're not thought out, and it's for the sake of a joke or for
Of
the
our
sake of
cameo,
being
to
shot.
set it up. We need to set up
And then it's more of a like, as long as we give them like bright colors and action, they'll be fine. Like, ooh, that was a fun movie.
Yeah.
Number popcorn.
I think like for me, like thinking about the DCU moving forward, I'm like, I'm not interested in Supergirl, especially with
I
this
just need Matt
portrayal.
Reeves.
I'm not excited for just the tone that they've chosen with this movie. I'm not a fan of the tone because I think if you want to have a super, like everyone's like, oh, it's a Saturday morning cartoon. Okay, I love Saturday morning cartoons. Like if that's going to be your tone, make it good though. You know what I mean? You can't just excuse it away and be like, well, it's just a jokey tone.
I mean, if
That's
you're
the
gonna
joke.
make
It's
a
like,
Saturday
it good.
morning cartoon, then make a Saturday morning
Yeah,
cartoon.
just make it a cartoon. Like,
And
just
then
don't make it a movie.
If you make a movie, something else. It's Marvel. It's Marvel 2.0, and there's a reason why people are not going to these movies as much as they were, because we've gotten so much of the same.
It feels the same every single time.
Yes, that now it's like, I've seen that before. I've seen that joke before. A fourth time, James Gunn. You've done that joke in every single one of your Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Mm-hmm. And so at some point, you get to the point where you're like, yeah, okay, I've seen this before, though.
Yeah, I think for me the problem is like this is the tone they've like this is the launch. This is launching the DCU. This is the tone you've chosen, and then people are like, yeah. So, but it's like then we have a Clayface movie that's written by a horror
And it's supposed
writer,
to be
and
a
it's
horror
supposed to be
movie.
rated R horror movie. It's like, that doesn't fit in this Superman. You know what I mean? And then you have the problem of bringing all these, like, how does it fit together?
Then you have Peacemaker, that's a rated R show on HBO Max that's really crude, and the whole point is to be like, oh, like we're risque, we're kind of blurring the lines, we're going right to the edge, and again, that's part of your universe setting
Right.
up. It's not consistent, doesn't make sense.
I don't have a problem with having different like styles within like a shared universe or whatever. I think that's actually more interesting. But I feel like the starting point that they started with is way too far in like a goofy tone that you can't really reconcile. Like throwing that, and then we're gonna have the Clayface movie over here, and then everything's like in the middle is gonna feel weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't know. What do I know?
Could be wrong.
Are we expecting too much of this movie? Like, or movies
It's
in
starting
general?
your universe, though.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's Superman.
I feel like
Yeah.
you have to, like, it's starting a new universe. You have to get people on board. And I know DC is fractured with Snyder fans and all that kind of stuff, but I feel like you could have done a better job. Like, again, as a certified hater, I'm the president of the James Gunn.
Lead monkey.
I am
he's the lead
I am
monkey.
the top monkey in Lex Luthor's
King
Pocket
Kong.
Universe. But what I'll say is, I was even me expecting that this would be like, oh, this is going to give a run for its money to Man of Steel. I think there are even better DC movies that I was like, I think Shazam is better than this. I think the Suicide Squad, which I disliked, is
James
better
Gunn's
than
Suicide Squad?
is better than Superman. And so that to me is a problem when you're trying to get people on board for a universe and it doesn't deliver, not for the people that were already going to go into it liking it, but like even with, we haven't said our scores, but if like Mick, who is more of a Superman fan, I think, than I am, and really loves that character, I think you have to do better than getting someone like that with a 6, right? Like,
Yeah, definitely.
6-ish. It has to be like you have that audience that's like they want a good Superman. They don't care who's playing Superman, but it's like you got to get better than a 7. Like it's got to be an 8, 9. So I just think that audience is going to be like, what is going on with this?
But
What did it make over the weekend?
Well, this is crazy. Let's talk about this. So
He's crunching the numbers.
it made 125 domestically.
Okay.
1,000.
Okay. And everyone is saying that like it's the highest grossing Superman movie ever.
they would be wrong.
But they are wrong because Man of Steel made 117. Okay.
That's less.
That's less. But that's the number they keep posting, 117. The reality is
2013 money.
no, we're not even doing inflation.
500 million right now.
But the 117 number
What's that in Bitcoin?
back in the day, they did not count Thursday midnight previews. Okay? So the 117 number is just for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They're purposely keeping out the Thursday number because Man of Steel made 128 if you count the previews. And what they're doing right now with the 125 of Superman is they're counting Tuesday previews and Thursday previews. So
Man, that's a stretch.
So their 128 includes
Opening week. Not weekend.
their 125 includes all the numbers.
That's 5
And so
days.
if you throw in the Thursday previews for Man of Steel beat it by 3 million.
Yeah.
Which that doesn't bode well for the new Superman. There's a guy, Joe Russo, posted like, well, all these Snyder fans saying like it didn't beat Man of Steel. He's like, but what you don't have to.
Like Joe Russo from the Russo brothers?
Yeah. He's like, what
Why
you
is he-
don't
why is he
realize.
There's this guy George Lucas. I don't know.
He goes, what you don't. It's not from the Russo brothers, but he's like, what you don't realize. He's like, what you don't realize is that what Superman is fighting now is post-COVID. And I was like, guys, COVID is over. Like,
Come on.
movies cross 1 billion. Oppenheimer crossed 1 billion. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
such a crutch.
even Jurassic World, that's a terrible movie, is making a ton of money.
yes. So, and the international numbers are not good. Like,
Yeah, they're saying it's
in
really
China,
low.
Yes, China.
in China, even though it it premiered, it made less than F1 and Jurassic World, and they're on their third weeks. So there's several countries international. In the UK, it didn't do well, and people were saying like, "Oh, well, there's a heat wave," and I was like, "If only there was a movie theater where you could have AC."
The AC's bad over there.
Boy, governor, won't you?
But yeah,
Chill it down.
it's kind of interesting to see the people posting like, "Oh, it's the highest grossing," and I was like, "But you're not putting the right numbers in.
Yeah.
You're putting 117. You're not including the Thursday." And you can go and look
Box Office Mojo.
and see that if you put in the Thursday. Anyways, I think there's going to be a big drop off next week.
You think or
Well,
hope?
well, it has 1 week before
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four.
I think there's probably going to be like a 40 to 50% drop in the box office here. And then internationally, I don't think it's going to do better than, I think most people that are going to see it have already seen it. So it's going to leave, I don't know. I think maybe it gets to 500. But I don't
make 6.
I don't think it's going to beat Man of Steel's total. But Warner Brothers, complete opposite from what they did with Man of Steel and BVS. Warner Brothers saying, if it makes 500, they're good.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, are
Plus
you
COVID,
kidding
dude.
me?
Plus COVID.
Crazy.
Because
Yeah. That's complete
almost
opposite.
$9 million for BVS was considered a failure, according to fans and people. But now 500 for a Superman movie that is launching a new universe, you're saying 500 million is what you need to make? It's wild.
Yeah.
They must know that movie sucks.
Well, Zaslav was like, this is a 10-year plan. We couldn't be more happy for what we're doing. I was like, really?
Oof.
I think you'd want $1 billion, right? Because whenever Marvel makes a movie and it doesn't make $1 billion, it's a failure. So I'm like, what's the
Yeah.
difference now? Anyways,
What was the budget on it?
225.
That was the production budget.
That was the budget. There was original thing came out for 300 million was the budget, but they got a tax cut thing. So they're saying 225. These numbers don't make sense too, because it's they're saying it's only 100 million for marketing,
Oh,
which
that can't be right.
the original
way.
the original thing that came out in Variety was it's 225 plus another 225 for marketing. Now an article came out saying, "Oh, it's actually only 100 million. That's why they think they can only make 500,000. They'll be fine." I was
there's
like,
no way.
"There's no way for the amount of stuff they've been doing." So say it's like, say 400 total. You still have to pay all the theaters.
Yeah.
So 700 to make profit is what people are probably saying, but not much profit. I don't know.
Well, I've just been buying tickets and not going just to support because I don't want to watch the movie again, but I want it to do good, you know?
But yeah, it's crazy. Let's give our rating.
Ooh.
We'll start with Josh.
I'll say this though, I was hopeful that it was going to be different than what we've seen, like different than a Guardians of the Galaxy 4 or 5, and that was not the case. So I was pretty let down with that. Even like watching the trailer for Fantastic Four, I was like, I am way more interested in this because it, like, yes, there are some jokes in there, but it sets a new tone. So at least overall, there was, as I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, I did enjoy watching all the way to the end, just trying to figure out what the heck was going on. And it wasn't a thing I was like, I want to walk out. So that puts it just above a 5 for me.
Ooh.
And then some of the shots were kind of cool. Mr. Terrific was great. And then the portrayal of Superman was good, but it wasn't good enough for me. Like the story just lost me. So I'm probably at like a 5.4.
5-4.
5-4.
Would not recommend seeing it in theaters.
Josh.
I don't have, listen, I'm not a certified hater like someone on this podcast. I don't have
I'm the top
He's not
monkey.
a certified, he's a bona fide.
I don't have I don't have an agenda. Like for me, it's easy.
I don't have an agenda either, bro.
For me, it's pretty easy to separate like,
Even if I caught it, I wouldn't know what to do.
for me, it's pretty easy to separate. Like, I know it's easy to get into that mindset of like, well, you complained about this in Man of Steel, and then you didn't complain about it in this one. But it's like, for me, Man of Steel sucks. Terrible Superman movie. So it's easy for me to like divorce myself from that idea of like, well, you complained about this for Superman and Man of Steel, complain about it in this. I went into it open-minded. Hey, let's get a new Superman. and I wasn't. I think you guys all remember most of the time after the movie I was going. I just went,
Yeah.
I was like
Pondering.
I was trying to figure out like what the heck I had just watched and what I thought about it. But it was like, yeah, I mean, with all the stuff I said, I think, yeah, there's some good parts about it. I think Superman overall, good portrayal. I just think he had nothing to work with writing wise. For me, it just comes down to the writing, the way the story's built.
What do you propose?
Yeah, like undermining your character moments for a payoff or a joke. And I don't like the James Gunn tone. I don't like the James Gunn jokiness. So, going into it, I was like expecting that. I honestly don't think it was as bad as some of his Guardians movies. Like Guardians 2, I feel like is basically like the worst James Gunn movie ever, just because of how jokey it is.
It's terrible.
And so for me, it was like, but it still was missing the heart. It's missing the punch that I needed. You know what I mean? I like the idea of a hopeful Superman, but it just didn't get there for me.
So what are you giving it?
And also, I would like to say,
Don't be scared of the comments.
I think 4-3. Is that what I gave you?
4-3.
Is that what I gave you out of the theater?
Okay.
Because I was, yeah.
Would you watch it in theaters? Recommend it in theaters?
I mean, if you like watching superhero movies in theaters, sure. But honestly, I don't think there was anything visually stunning in this movie that I'm like, you have to watch this in the biggest screen possible.
For me, I think it's gone down
More? Wow.
more than what it
The
already
more you
was.
argue with people,
The more I talk about it, and the more I'd be like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Even you said some stuff in here that I was like,
of course,
you're
I'm a
right.
genius.
That doesn't make sense. But for me, it's a... actually, before I say this,
Thank you.
One thing, guys.
Just get to your school.
No. Because there inevitably is going to be a group of people that, regardless of what you say about this, if you say something negative, it's like you're a Snyder bro, right? And so they
You're
dismiss.
wearing a Snyder shirt
I
right
am,
now, by the
but
way.
they dismiss. But I paid good money for this, and it helps suicide prevention. So if you have a problem with that, you're a bad person, and that's not very punk rock of you, according to Superman. But the thing is, yes, I love Zack Snyder movies. Not all of them. I can say when some are bad, but
Rebel
his
Moon.
superhero movies I love. But here at this table, we're not just Snyder bros. Josh isn't a Snyder bro. Mick probably is more of a Snyder bro than Josh. But guess what we are? We're also Nolan bros.
Yeah.
We love Christopher Nolan movies. Peter Jackson bros. You know? Denis Villeneuve bros.
Yep.
You know? Like, Mick loves Marvel movies. So he's probably a Russo bro. You know? Like
A Joe Russo,
you know,
bro.
you know, like I'm a M. Night Shyamalan bro. I know you guys. people hate
Shyamalan
that.
ding dong.
I'm a Shyamalan bro. But I'm a Spielberg bro, right? The thing is, I like good movies. If you make a good movie, I'll be like, I like that.
Yeah.
You know, Ridley Scott bro. I'm a Ridley Scott bro. I love some of Ridley Scott's movies. So the whole to dismiss it to just, oh, you're just a Snyder bro. No, I like quality movies. And so I'm giving this a 2.5 out of 10. 2.5. Oh, Mr. Terrific is great. I'm giving him a point for that. I think the acting in Superman are all great. Like, there's good actors. That's another point. And I'll give a 0.5 for the score. Because I thought it was serviceable. But other than that, I didn't like anything else. There we go.
Dang, dude, that's the Snyder bro talking for sure.
And a Nolan bro. And a Kubrick bro as well. Why not?
Kubrick bro.
Hey, but we're gonna end it with Mick.
Yeah, I'll
because I think this is gonna be
I'll definitely have
this will raise the average. This will raise the
I
average.
will definitely have the most positive review.
Wow.
here.
Grading on a curve, baby.
It's still lower than I would have liked out of a Superman movie for sure. I think so. I saw it twice. First time I was like a 6.8 or something. Second time 6. I think I said 6.4 or something.
Break 5.
I'm gonna land because my second viewing, more annoying things.
Was it Jonah sitting next to you?
It probably was Jonah because every time something would come up, he'd be like,
I tried my best.
or he'd be like,
I tried
he'd be
my
like,
best.
Really?
Hey, I lost it with the monkeys and the squirrels. That's like,
You
I think the
definitely
big
did.
moment when I did that. But other than that, I was like, I'd go, but I'd hold myself.
No, it was funny. That being said, I will land on a 6.
Even six.
All right.
Wow.
And 6.
Positive.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's a good
hope,
movie.
The hope for the future.
Wow.
Nick
There
is
you go.
the hope.
He's so punk rock over
Yeah.
there.
You,
Look to me.
you know, you are the punk rock one here. You know? Are you a big fan of Krabby Patty Krabby Pitties?
They're my favorite band.
I don't know what they are.
Krabby, what?
I don't know. I said pitties. There you go. There you have it. We went an hour and a half in our Superman review. You're welcome.
What a great
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah. Let us know what you thought. If you disagree with us, which I think,
Probably.
judging by scores, people disagree with us. But I know.
But
that
tell
some
me
people,
why,
But
then.
I know that some-
That's the biggest reason. Like, give us some good examples of like,
Yeah.
oh, I like this. Instead of like, it looks
yeah,
so colorful.
refutes the fact that Lex Luthor has a giant pothole.
Has a
Plot
what?
hole. Plot hole in
Yeah.
his whole arc.
His plot hole's huge.
Yeah. So, anyways, you can find us on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook, on X. We will be back next week with more of the Nerd Age podcast. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. See you later.
Bye. Bye.